Welcome. Thank you all for coming today and braving the icy DC streets to be here with us today to announce that more companies that serve nonprofits are choosing to become B corporations and help nonprofits align their spending with their missions. We're launching a website today, bcorpsfornonprofits.com, to help nonprofits that are looking for everything from website design to consulting services easily find socially and environmentally responsible companies to meet their needs. I'm Dana Goldstein. I'm the founder of Philantech, and I'm here with representatives from CARE2, Clinton O'Brien, and PicNet, Tim Forbes, to talk about this new initiative. We will each say a few words about our organizations and why we decided to become B corporations, and specifically why we have joined this B Corporations for Nonprofits initiative, and then we'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. First off, what is a B corporation? B corporations are a new type of company that uses the power of business to solve social and environmental problems. While many companies talk about being good or green companies, B corporations are certified by an independent nonprofit called B-Lab. To become a B corporation, a company must achieve a passing score on a comprehensive test evaluating various measures of social and environmental responsibilities. The B corporation community has been gradually raising awareness of a better way to do business. The companies that have joined B Corps for Nonprofits in particular focus specifically on the needs of nonprofit organizations. For the companies that are involved in this initiative, either 50% of revenue is from nonprofits, or 50% of the client base must achieve a passing score. Either 50% of the client base is nonprofit organizations. And what is special about B corporations for nonprofits? Many B corporations dedicate a percentage of their profits or their net profits to nonprofits, or find other positive ways to contribute to the nonprofit sector. The B corporations in this initiative are specifically dedicated to serving nonprofits. That means that these big corporations are really dedicated to growing and supporting the nonprofit sector, and then they understand the unique needs of nonprofits. There are three things that make B corporations for nonprofits different. One, B corporations are not like other companies. They are social entrepreneurs with do-gooder missions, similar to and complementary with vital missions of nonprofit organizations. B Corps for Nonprofits proudly focus on serving nonprofits as their primary clients. Nonprofits are not a sideshow to these companies, they're the main event. And B Corps have committed to walk the walk, not just talk the talk of social responsibility. They do this by meeting or exceeding a specific set of measurable B Corporation standards, including workplace diversity, carbon neutrality, recycling and waste reduction, donating a portion of profits to good causes, etc. I'd like to speak just very briefly about Philantech and our dedication to B Corporation and to B Corps for Nonprofits, and then I'll turn it over to my colleagues here to talk about their companies and a little bit more about this initiative. Philantech is proud to be a founding B Corporation, to have been one of the first companies to recognize the importance of this movement. And we're pleased to join CARE2, PicNet, and the other B Corps for Nonprofits to increase awareness in the nonprofit community of the benefits of working with B corporations. The importance of being a good company is not lost on anyone who works in the nonprofit sector. I'm frequently called upon to explain that while Philantech is not a nonprofit, it's a for-profit that's motivated by social and environmental bottom lines in addition to a financial bottom line. I used to say that Philantech was a nice for-profit, and I can now say that Philantech is a B corporation. Like other B corporations for nonprofits, the social and environmental responsibility aren't afterthoughts for Philantech in our work with nonprofits in administering grants and streamlining the grants management process. They're core to the way that we do business. And as such, nonprofits that elect to work with B corporations can know that their spending on our products and services is aligned with their missions. Our hope in joining with CARE2, PicNet, and others is threefold. One, that we will help to increase awareness within the nonprofit community of B corporations and the benefit of working with B Corps. Two, that we will help to increase the profile of the other B corporations that serve the unique needs of the nonprofit sector. And three, that we can encourage more companies that serve nonprofits to become certified B corporations. And with that, I would like to turn over the floor to Clinton O'Brien, who is the VP of Nonprofit Services at CARE2.
Thank you very much, Dana. I'm here in part representing our CEO and founder, Randy Painter, who's on the West Coast to be here today. First of all, I want to thank you, Dana, and also the folks at PicNet for the work you've done organizing this event today. I want to thank our hosts here at Busboys and Poets Restaurant here in Washington, D.C., which, for those of you who don't know it, is a B corporation, showing that B Corps come in all shapes and sizes. CARE2 is one of many socially responsible companies that have joined the B corporation movement. think we're up to like 365 B corporations now across 30+ industries. It's really become a movement, and it's very important to us for all sorts of reasons. I would say at Care2, where our mission is to make a difference and to help our 15 million members who are do-gooders make a difference in the world, we have to live by these principles. It's really important for us to take our social mission seriously and to have ways to measure that impact and to show all of our stakeholders and especially our members that we care about these causes that we talk about so much on care2.com. I would say, first and foremost, the reason that we are a B corporation is that we believe that acting as a socially responsible business is the right thing to do, ethically, morally, and every other way. But I'll say something else, which is sometimes lost on people, which is that something has changed in recent history to the point where I would also argue vigorously that to be a company that makes a difference while you make a profit is now just good business. It is a conscious choice to say that a tipping point has been reached where more consumers and business-to-business customers now expect this of their service providers, demand it from them, that it becomes a better long-term strategy to embrace these principles. And so Care2 strongly believes that we're doing the right thing for our shareholders, for our investors, for our members, our millions of members. And I'll tell you something else. Nonprofits, who are our primary client base, the source of 75% of Care2's revenue, which has been true for 10 of our 13 years of existence, they absolutely hold us to high standards, and they should. And so it's really important to us, and part of our success to be a more prosperous company, to be sincere and aggressive about embracing social responsibility principles in all aspects of the way we conduct Care2 business. So it's our privilege to serve nonprofits. It's also, as I say, a very humbling responsibility that we strive to do justice to every day. But it's part of our success formula, frankly, is to be a B corporation. So we're very excited to join with you guys and with the other socially responsible companies. We're thankful to B-Lab for leading the way and for their strong support of this effort, where we're trying to raise the awareness of why B corporations are worthy of the patronage of nonprofit organizations.
I'd now like to ask Tim Forbes, who is the Director of Client Services at PicNet, to say a few words.
Excellent. Well, we with PicNet couldn't be happier to be on the stage with Care2 and Philantech and joining other B corporations as part of the B Corporations for Nonprofits movement. And really, we think it's important to highlight what Clint mentioned about highlighting businesses that have made that conscious choice to act for the betterment of society and the planet, and to specifically serve fellow nonprofits that are really made up of the same DNA, are seeking that same mission-driven approach to what they're attempting to do. We at PicNet exist to empower nonprofits to better fulfill their missions through technology. And we do that through building easy-to-manage, powerful content management systems that are responsive to their specific challenges and the specific opportunities that they have as nonprofits. And I think we at PicNet firmly believe, as with other B corporations, that it's important for corporations seeking to serve nonprofits to do more than just offer discounts for nonprofits or to give philanthropically to different causes. That understanding that comes through a mutual appreciation and acceptance of mission-driven aspects of a company or an organization are important to highlight. And we're excited about this launch of e-corporations for nonprofits as a way to really help nonprofits find kinship in corporations and in e-corporations, to find those organizations easily that match their missions for serving people on the planet.
Thank you. Before we take questions, I'd just like to do two more quick things. And one is, again, to thank Us Boys and Poets, a fellow B corporation, for hosting us today and allowing us to use this space. Thank you. We have all mentioned B-Lab, which is the organization, a nonprofit in Pennsylvania that certifies B corporations. Unfortunately, they were not able to be with us today, but they sent a written statement in support of B corporations for nonprofits that I would like to now read, and then we'll be happy to take questions. The team at B-Lab is thrilled that these certified B corporations are collaborating to reach out to the nonprofit community on how to align their vendors with their mission. The B Corporation certification was designed to enable all of us, consumers, investors, policymakers, employees, to be able to tell the difference between good companies and just good marketing. This initiative will enable nonprofits to do exactly that and make sure they're supporting high-impact companies even if they further their own mission. These companies have not only met high social and environmental standards, but they have also met higher standards of legal accountability that truly puts their mission into the DNA of these companies. We hope that this innovation will be the first of many future collaborative projects among certified B corporations, and would like to thank its organizers, Volantech, Care2, and PicNet, for their support of and leadership within the B corporation community. I would encourage you all to check out the microsite that just launched this morning, thanks to PicNet, www.bcorpsfornonprofits.com. Let me try that again. It's www.bcorpsfornonprofits.com. And with that, we will be happy to take any questions that you all may have.
Yeah, I have a question. What's the difference between a B Corp and a for-profit that just gives away money?
I'll take that in the first question. So we are very supportive of any corporations that engage in any sort of philanthropic activity, and for-profit companies that donate a percentage of their profits to nonprofit organizations and causes that they care about are certainly very valuable and activities to be encouraged. The thing that really differentiates B corporations from companies that are just giving away a percentage of their profits, and a number of B corporations give away a percentage of their profits as well to nonprofits. But the thing that really distinguishes B corporations is that we're not just engaging in a philanthropic activity in terms of giving away a percentage of revenue. We've really all baked in social and environmental responsibility into the core ways that we do business, whether it's how we hire employees, how we source from our local communities, ways that we engage with the community, how we engage in environmental activities to reduce our carbon footprints and the impacts that we're having on the environment, generally speaking. So really the difference is, while we're certainly supportive of giving money to nonprofit organizations, and most of us do, B corporations have really embedded social and environmental responsibility into every aspect of the way that we do business. Next question, please.
You mentioned that Care2, I think, was founded many years ago, and I know the designation for B Corp is new. Why did you decide to go with that designation? And what were you doing anything prior?
You mean like, were we a socially irresponsible company before we corporation?
Yeah.
That's a good question. So actually the B Corporation designation is about 3 years old. Care2 became a B Corporation a little more than 2 years ago, so we were not among the very first, but we spotted a good idea and climbed on board pretty quickly. So Care2 for many years, as I know personally, has been a member of a similar organization up in Boston called the CERES Group, CERES, which is really the pioneer, at least that I'm aware of in this area, of creating a special status for those for-profit companies that are trying to do good while they do well profitably. So when I first came to Care2 6 years ago, actually one of my responsibilities was to write our corporate accountability report as part of our CERES membership, which required us to talk about how we were making progress across a broad range of practices, such as Dana just mentioned, workplace diversity, recycling, minimizing our carbon footprint, and having an impact on good causes. And what's important for that group, to their credit, is that the for-profit companies that participate have to show measurable progress every year as they file this open report for their stakeholders and for the public. But I would say Care2, partly by virtue of being part of the CERES group, but also just because it's in the DNA of our founder, Randy Painter, was part of his original vision, has always been trying to be very socially responsible. The reason for joining these organizations, such as the CERES group and now the B Corporation group, is to evangelize that notion beyond Care2 to other companies, to try to create a movement around it, to make sure the public understands the difference and holds other companies responsible for acting in a socially responsible way. And to generally spread this gospel, I would say, of taking your mission seriously, of social entrepreneurship. So B Corporation, to its credit, seems to have packaged this concept really effectively, and I believe is now really gaining momentum. And I would point to something actually that just happened last week. The state of New Jersey, their legislature unanimously approved officially recognizing B corporations in New Jersey, which is something that only Maryland had done up until then. The city of Philadelphia has created actual real tax breaks for B corporations as a way to attract B corps to the city. So I think this is really picking up steam, and although we have 365 B corporations so far, I would not be surprised if in a few years there were thousands, maybe tens or even hundreds of thousands of B corporations before it's all over, because I think the pressure will mount on companies to become B corporations or give a really good reason why they aren't, making themselves, opening themselves up to the scrutiny and to the rigorous requirements of being a B corporation.
To piggyback off that, if I may, PICNET is the newest of the B corporations in this group. And I know, much like CARE2, the principles have been part of PICNET from the very beginning, since its founding. And along with the awareness question of just being sort of newer to the game with becoming a certified B corporation just a little over a year ago, was largely due to awareness on our part, just realizing that this existed, and then the administrative hurdle of realizing, oh, well, there's this certification process. We need to fill out these series of questions, document what we know we do already, which, quite frankly, for us, with being a small company, seemed like a fairly big hurdle. But if there are any companies out there that are like-minded, that are looking at that process with a little bit of trepidation about, well, how much energy is this going to take, I think all of us would wholeheartedly say you should definitely pursue this. Go through the process, and you'll be extremely happy with going through that certification and becoming a B corporation.
And I completely agree. And just to piggyback just slightly further on that, companies can actually go to the B Corporation website and do the B Corporation survey without necessarily going through the whole certification process. So you can go through and just get a snapshot of where your company stands and get a sense of areas potentially for improvement or things to work on to really get to that level of social and environmental responsibility even before becoming certified. Any other questions?
So how do you go about proving that you're a B Corp? If you're, as Dana had said, a really nice for-profit, how do you go about showing, if you think that you're having measurable progress, how do you go about showing that and becoming a B corporation?
Well, the way that that's done is largely through this certification process, where a company can go to bcorporation.net, take the survey, begin the process of certification. It really involves answering a variety of questions to document those practices that Dana had mentioned in terms of how your company is responsive to looking after concerns of people, planet. And then once one is certified, it's not just a once and done kind of proposition. The B Corporation is really wanting to make sure that this commitment to social responsibility is both measurable and a living reality. So beyond just the initial certification, there's a variety of recertification steps that happen on a timed basis periodically, as well as having occasional audits of B corporations by third-party auditors to make sure that those corporations are living up to the values that they espouse.
Piggybacking on that, so one of the requirements to become a certified B corporation is that the company has to amend its articles of incorporation to specifically say that it acts in the best interest not only of shareholders but of stakeholders. And that's actually, it was explained to me by Bart Houlihan, who's one of the partners of B-Corp, B-Lab rather, that's really important because if you were to take kind of a churn and burn, short-term view of what shareholders' interests are, you wouldn't necessarily subscribe to sustainable principles and environmental responsibility and all this other do-gooder stuff. But if you look at stakeholders and the long-term interests of stakeholders, then you're now required by your own articles of incorporation, which have been signed off on by the board of directors, you're required to behave this way. So that's the other aspect of this, is that the company's own shareholders can hold the operating officer's feet to the fire to continue to live up to their B corporation status. So that's over and above the enforcement mechanisms built into the B Lab certification process of periodic audits and those things.
Yeah, that's a good point. And with all of that, when nonprofits are looking for socially and environmentally responsible vendors to meet their needs across a broad spectrum of requirements, they can go to www.bcorpsfornonprofits.com and know that B corporations that are participating in this initiative, and in fact all B corporations, are held to this higher standard, both internally and externally. Are there any other questions?
Can you remind me again, you mentioned that there were B Corp standards for certain states. Can you say the states again?
So Maryland was the first state to pass benefit legislation. That happened towards the end of last calendar year. New Jersey is the most recent, just last week. Both houses of the New Jersey state legislature unanimously passed B corporation legislation. It is underway in Vermont as well and in a number of other states. But Maryland, just next door to us here, has really been the leader in this initiative on a state level. Philadelphia has been the leader on a city level. New Jersey is following close behind on the state level. And we're hopeful and optimistic that other states and other municipalities will be following their footsteps as well.
Actually, one other set of benefits not to be underestimated are that B corporations are now starting on a voluntary basis to give benefits to each other as a way of spreading the movement and encouraging other B corporations to come on board. So for example, Intuit, the company that makes Quicken and QuickBooks, etc., has offered any B Corp a very steep discount, I believe, on QuickBooks, the accounting software. And Salesforce.com has offered a very steep discount on the use of Salesforce software. And there are other companies too that are following that trend. So any of you for-profits people who read about this event today, who are interested in joining, that's icing on the cake. Those are just additional reasons to become a B corporation, but not to be underestimated. Any more questions?
Well, if those are all the questions, then I would like to thank you all very much for coming today, and again for braving the icy sidewalks out there in DC. And thank you again to Busboys and Poets, the fellow B Corporation, for hosting us here today. Thank you to Clint and to Tim, and we hope to see you all on the web on www.bcorpsfornonprofits.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.